Queen Victoria gave her name to an age and ruled as Britain's icon, but the evidence shows her DNA tells a different story, one that's almost entirely German, not British. In 2009, scientists sequenced her bloodline and uncovered a genetic mutation officials denied for a century, a single error that rewrote medical textbooks and helped topple empires. So why does the royal family still refuse a full test? And what else could Victoria's DNA reveal about the truth behind her real ancestry? Victoria was born in 1819 at Kensington Palace, but her bloodline traced deep into the heart of German lands. Her father, Edward, Duke of Kent, belonged to the Hanoverian dynasty, a family rooted in the German state of Hanover, not the British Isles. Her mother, Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, was born and raised in Coburg, a small German duchy. Even Victoria's marriage reinforced these ties. She wed her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, uniting two German houses at the center of European royalty. Officially, Victoria was the British monarch, yet her ancestry, language, and family customs came from German courts. Letters between family members were written in German, and holidays followed continental traditions. The so-called grandmother of Europe filled palaces from Spain to Russia with grandchildren who all shared these roots. During World War I, anti-German sentiment swept across Britain. On July 17, 1917, King George V, Victoria's grandson, issued a royal proclamation that erased the German name Saxe-Coburg-Gotha from the royal house, replacing it with Windsor. This act tried to sever the monarchy's public ties to Germany, but the family tree told a different story. Victoria's lineage, preserved in archives and official records, remained unmistakably German, regardless of what the proclamation declared. In 2009, a team led by geneticist Evgeny Rogayev published a study in Science that changed everything historians thought they knew about the royal disease. For over a century, doctors believed Queen Victoria's descendants suffered from hemophilia A. Rogayev's group, working with forensic samples from the Romanov family's remains, sequenced the F9 gene on the X chromosome and found a mutation responsible for hemophilia B instead. This single genetic change, an A to G switch at a critical splice site, disrupted the production of clotting factor IX. The evidence traced the mutation directly through Victoria's bloodline to her great-grandson, Alexei Romanov. The science was clear. Hemophilia B, not A, ran through the royal houses of Europe. The mutation was X-linked, meaning Victoria could silently carry it and pass it to her children. Her son Leopold, born in 1853, lived with the condition all his life and died at 30 after a minor fall. The confirmation from DNA sequencing not only corrected the historical record, but also explained the pattern of inheritance seen in her immediate heirs. The disease appeared suddenly in Victoria's line, with no trace in earlier Hanoverian ancestors. Molecular analysis, not family legend, finally revealed the genetic truth behind the royal disease. The hemophilia mutation that began with Queen Victoria did not stay confined to Britain. Through her daughters Alice and Beatrice, the gene spread into the royal houses of Germany and Spain, leaving a trail of tragedy in its wake. In the German Duchy of Hesse, Princess Alice's son Friedrich, known as Fritz, was born in 1870. Family letters describe him as a gentle child, often covered in bruises. At just 3 years old, Friedrich fell from a window. The bleeding could not be stopped, and he died within hours. His cousin Prince Waldemar, the son of Alice's daughter Irene, spent his life under the shadow of the same disease. Waldemar survived into adulthood, but constant hemorrhages and medical interventions defined his existence. Another of Irene's sons, Heinrich, died at age 4 after a minor accident triggered fatal internal bleeding. The mutation crossed into Spain when Victoria's granddaughter, Victoria Eugenie, married King Alfonso XIII. Their first son, Alfonso, Prince of Asturias, was diagnosed with hemophilia as a child. Medical records from the 1930s document repeated hospitalizations and blood transfusions. In 1938, a minor car accident in Miami led to uncontrollable bleeding. Alfonso died at 31. His younger brother, Gonzalo, faced a similar fate. After a car crash in 1934, doctors could do little. He died at 19. By the early 20th century, the royal disease had claimed at least 7 young princes across Germany and Spain. Each case followed the same pattern: a minor injury, unstoppable bleeding, and a family left grieving. The pattern was clear long before the Russian drama unfolded. In August 1904, Tsarevich Alexei was born to Nicholas II and Alexandra, the last imperial family of Russia. Almost immediately, Alexandra realized her son suffered from a mysterious illness. By age 2, Alexei's medical diary recorded severe joint swelling and spontaneous bleeding, classic symptoms of hemophilia B. Though no one in Russia had ever seen a case so severe, every fall, every bruise threatened his life. Doctors could do little. Alexandra, desperate, turned to faith and mysticism. In 1905, she invited Grigory Rasputin, a Siberian peasant and self-styled holy man, into the imperial circle. When Alexei nearly died in Spala in 1912, Rasputin sent a telegram from hundreds of miles away. The bleeding stopped. Alexandra believed this was a miracle. Rasputin's influence grew, reaching its peak between 1915 and 1916, as Nicholas left for the front and Alexandra, guided by Rasputin, managed court affairs. Ministerial appointments and dismissals began to follow Rasputin's advice. Letters from Alexandra to Nicholas mention Rasputin's guidance in over 40 separate decisions. The Russian public, already battered by war and shortages, watched as rumors of Rasputin's power spread through newspapers and Duma speeches. By 1917, faith in the monarchy had collapsed. The Duma openly accused the court of being under the sway of dark forces. Strikes and protests multiplied. In March, Nicholas II abdicated. A year later, the Romanov family was executed in Ekaterinburg. The genetic legacy of Queen Victoria's mutation, carried silently through generations, had helped destabilize the Russian Empire. One gene, passed down a royal bloodline, changed the course of world history. In 2003, biographer A.N. Wilson stirred debate by proposing that Queen Victoria's real father was not the Duke of Kent, but John Conroy, her mother's Irish equerry. Wilson pointed to the close age gap between Conroy and the Duchess, just 19 years apart, and cited rumors recorded in the diaries of Charles Greville, where the Duke of Wellington himself confirmed whispers of an affair. The theory gained momentum from one glaring fact: hemophilia had never appeared in the Hanoverian line before Victoria. If Conroy were her father, the mutation's sudden emergence might seem less mysterious. But genetic logic complicates this story. Hemophilia B is inherited through the X chromosome, and for Victoria to pass it on, her father would have needed to be affected himself. Yet Conroy showed no symptoms. Medical genetics offers another explanation. Around 30% of hemophilia cases arise from spontaneous mutations, and the chance increases with paternal age. The Duke of Kent was 51 when Victoria was conceived, a factor known to elevate mutation risk. After further review, Wilson retracted his claim in 2014. Still, the question lingers, because only direct DNA analysis could resolve the debate, and so far no royal approval has been granted for such a test. Claims about royal ancestry have always sparked debate, but not all can be settled by science. Queen Charlotte, Victoria's grandmother, stands at the center of one such controversy. Historian Mario de Valde de Cocom traced her lineage to a 13th century Portuguese king and his Moorish mistress, Madragana. If accurate, this would mean every monarch descended from Victoria carries a trace of North African ancestry. Yet, after 15 generations, any genetic contribution is diluted to just one part in over 30,000. Critics argue the evidence is circumstantial, and Snopes labeled the claim unproven in a 2022 review. Portraits and ambiguous descriptions offer little more than speculation. Where ancestry leaves questions, genetics sometimes delivers certainty. In 1993, Prince Philip provided a blood sample to help identify remains found in Ekaterinburg, believed to be the Romanovs. A year later, Jill's team published in Nature Genetics. Philip's mitochondrial DNA matched the bones exactly. In 2007, the same sample confirmed the identities of Alexei and his sister from a second grave. Here, a single DNA test resolved a mystery that had lingered for 75 years. But when it comes to Victoria herself, the royal family has never allowed such testing. The limits of science are drawn not by technology, but by permission. The evidence shows that every reigning royal house in Europe owes its lineage and its legacy to genetic facts still shielded from public scrutiny. As long as the royal family blocks DNA testing, the true origins of the monarchy remain an unanswered question. Sometimes, history's most sensitive secrets are written in code.